Fine art A-level demands a real commitment, determination and self-discipline from the students, and we really want our students to aim for the A and A-star grades. Fine art's a broad specialism, and within that we do teach specific skills. However, we do facilitate workshops for other media, and we really want to kind of emphasize the individual strengths of our students. After A-level, there's many different pathways. So we've had students that do a foundation course, some that go directly to a BA degree within the arts, some that do a separate degree which isn't related to art. There's also higher national diplomas. Also, sometimes we've had other students that have gone directly into employment. However, if you don't know the route after A-level, that's absolutely fine. That is part of our job when you join us in sixth form, but it is worth considering what your passions are and what your potential future could be when you are selecting your A-levels. If you'd like to read this slide further, please feel free to pause this video. Over the years, we've had a number of students apply to a large range of courses and directly go into different careers after studying our A-level. Architecture seems to be quite popular at the moment, but really this is down to the individual and where you see your future path. Please feel free to pause the video here for a further look. The exam board we use for A-level art is EDUCAS, and we follow a 2-year course for A-level, and the time is broken up as you can see on this slide here. So we start off the year with foundation skills projects covering lots of different topics. So we're looking at art history, we're also looking at black art and art made from minority groups, in contrast to a kind of rather predominant Western art history timeline. We also look at printing skills and painting skills, as well as presenting and some digital workshops. Component 1 is personal inquiry, and that's very much led by the student. We will facilitate the development of that, but it needs to be quite personal to the individual, and that is started in year 1 and it runs into the second year, finishing in sort of December, January time, where that work will then be submitted with a final grade, and that makes up 60% of the A-level grade. We then begin component 2 in February, which is an externally set assignment by the exam board, and similar to your component 1, you'll have some coursework that covers the 4 assessment objectives. However, your final outcome will be produced in a 15-hour exam. So if you study GCSE art, this is a kind of similar structure to GCSE, however the exam is longer. Also the quality of the work will be a lot more in depth and a lot more sophisticated than previously studied. Assessments are always internally marked, and we will share those marks with you throughout the year. We'll have some additional internal deadlines. The final marks and work is externally moderated, so that goes off to the exam board and they will moderate the submitted grades. Again, this is quite similar to the GCSE process. Here I've just included a few examples of some work from the last year. It's quite difficult really in this format to share all the work, and definitely when we have students in the classroom, this is something we do quite regularly, like share not only progress of students within the same group, but also let them have a look at previous examples so they can really visualize what that looks like. So for those of you that aren't familiar with assessment objectives, AO1 is develop and is often our sort of research assessment objective. So this is a very short extract of the beginning of an artist's research. There's also AO2, which is explore and refine the way you use media, and AO3, the way you record ideas. So we've got on the right here, the dystopian collage is a way of the candidate exploring their ideas around the topic. We also see then some developed sketches, which again kind of feeds into AO3, in them exploring compositions and how it relates to the previous research they've done in their sketchbook, as well as one of their initial outcomes, which could be counted towards AO4 present. And then AO4 is final pieces and outcomes. So these are really what we see in our end of year exhibition. And they can really range in terms of topic and scale, as you can kind of see here. Also, it really depends on the student in what media they use. So we've got some collage with some sort of painting. We've also got some digital work of photography in this one. I think this one is a real sort of mixed media with plaster, pen, paint, all sorts of things. We've also had in the past some video work, large-scale photography. It really varies from year to year on the individuals, as previously mentioned. Here we've got a mixture of some outcomes and also just some preliminary studies and development work from, at the top we've got a year 13 student, and they were rather large triptych of paintings, where the work below is more some of our preliminary work from our year 12. Here we have again some more outcomes, very different styles. So we have the portrait, which is more traditional fine art, and then on the right here we've got a more sort of graphics, illustrative approach to an outcome. And again, more outcomes from last year. So you can kind of really see the difference in topics. So we had one student that was very focused on sort of architecture and buildings, and then another student that was really kind of exploring the idea of cultural appropriation and history of kind of more classical art and the lack of representation of Black people within that